Commander Reltor sat in the dark command chamber of his scout ship, the Vrain's Claw. Outside the window stretched the endless blackness of space, and beyond it, the impossible sight of Earth's sun, wrapped in glowing rings of pure energy. Every few seconds, a wave of golden light rippled through the solar system. The ship's sensors flickered. Alarms screamed. The human structure was still expanding, piece by piece, like a living organism made of light. "Commander," said his first officer, voice trembling, "energy levels continue to rise. It's off every known scale. The star shouldn't even be stable at this point." Reltor said nothing. His gaze stayed fixed on the display. For centuries, the galaxy's greatest empires had tried to control stars, to harvest them, to move them, even to weaponize them. All had failed. And yet, the humans, the forgotten race from the edge of the galaxy, had done it. He leaned forward, whispering, "They said it couldn't be done. They said humans were weak." He looked at the screen again. "Now look at them." The crew stared in silence. On every display the energy readings shifted, forming patterns. Not random, not chaotic, but rhythmic. Almost like language. "Commander, look at this," cried the science officer. "These energy bursts are not random. They're sending a signal into deep space." Reltor frowned. "A signal? To who?" The officer's voice cracked. We don't know. It's not directed toward any known system. It's going beyond the galactic rim." That single sentence chilled everyone on the bridge. Beyond the galactic rim, there was nothing. No stars. No colonies. Only darkness. And yet, humans were sending a message there. Back in the Grand Council Hall, the galaxy's most powerful rulers were in chaos. Holograms flickered, voices shouted over each other. "They're trying to communicate with something. They've gone mad. Shut them down before it's too late." But no one could reach Earth. Every attempt to send a message into the Sol system failed. The human defense field reflected or erased every signal. Then something stranger happened. Across dozens of alien worlds, their communication networks began receiving faint echoes, copies of the human transmission. It wasn't attacking them. It was teaching them. On the screens appeared human scientists, working calmly around the glowing solar ring. Their faces were tired but determined. A woman's voice spoke clearly in Galactic Standard. "This is Dr. Mira Solon of Earth Command. Project Impossible is proceeding as planned. Please remain at a safe distance. Observation only. Do not interfere." Her voice was confident, but her eyes looked haunted. Back aboard the Vrain's Claw, Reltor zoomed the camera closer to the human structure. He saw hundreds of ships moving in perfect synchronization, linked by beams of blue light. They weren't using normal engines. They were floating through magnetic fields shaped by the sun itself. And then he noticed something even stranger. "Commander," said his officer softly, "those ships, they're not crewed." "What?" "They're unmanned. Controlled remotely. Or maybe, not remotely. Something else is guiding them." Reltor's claws tapped the console slowly. "Something else, like what?" "Like the sun," the officer whispered. For a moment no one spoke. The bridge was silent except for the hum of the engines. Then the sun blinked. A flash of white light erupted, so bright that every sensor shut down. The ship shuddered violently. Power flickered. "Shields down to 40%, shouted the engineer. "We can't stay here, Commander." "Hold position." Reltor barked. Through the viewport, the golden ring around the sun began spinning faster, creating a vortex of light. At its center, something was forming, a black sphere, smooth and perfect, hovering above the solar surface. "What is that?" whispered the officer. No one knew. Then Earth spoke again. Across every screen in the galaxy, the human broadcast resumed. "Phase 2 begins now. Project Impossible is entering fusion stabilization mode." Dr. Mira Solon's voice was calm, but behind her, the lab trembled with power. "We are rewriting the limits of matter. This is not a weapon. It's a bridge." The last word echoed strangely. "Bridge? Bridge to what?" Moments later, the black sphere erupted, not in fire but in silence. A perfect wave of energy expanded outward. Every alien ship, every satellite, every defense grid, shut down instantly. The galaxy went dark. Only human ships near the sun remained glowing, untouched. Inside the Vrain's Claw, Reltor's crew screamed as lights went out. "Power loss. Total systems failure. We're falling toward the gravitational field." Reltor gripped the armrest. "Hold steady. Emergency reserves, now." The ship drifted helplessly toward the blazing storm. Then, just as suddenly, the systems returned. Power surged back online. Every display lit up again. And on every screen the same message appeared. Do not be afraid. The test is complete. Across the galaxy, entire civilizations stared at their restored systems, too shocked to speak. They ran diagnostics, rechecked sensors, and confirmed the truth. Humans had just shut down the galaxy for a full minute, and turned it back on. "Commander," whispered the science officer, how did they do that?" Reltor didn't answer. He was staring at the sun, at the strange calm that followed the storm. "Commander?" He turned slowly, eyes wide with awe and fear. "They didn't just control energy," he said softly. "They controlled reality itself." Back on Earth, Dr. Mira Solon stood alone in the observation chamber, watching the data scroll across her screen. Her face was pale, but her eyes shone with quiet triumph. A voice behind her said, "We did it. We made the impossible real." Mira didn't smile. She whispered, almost to herself, "No, we just opened the door. What waits on the other side, that's what the galaxy should fear." Outside, the solar ring glowed softly, pulsing like a heartbeat. The black sphere hovered above the sun, humming gently, as if alive. And far beyond the galaxy's edge, something answered the human signal. The response was faint. A whisper in the void. But it was there. Reltor's ship detected it first, a small vibration coming from beyond the known stars. He listened to it carefully. And though no one could translate it, one thing was clear. Whatever humans had contacted was coming. The galaxy was no longer calm. For centuries it had followed order. The council ruled, the empires obeyed, and humans were ignored. But now everything had changed. When humans activated Project Impossible, the galaxy went dark. 460 long seconds, every ship, every colony, every planet, lost power. No one could move. No one could speak. And when the light returned, nothing was the same. Inside the Grand Council Hall, alarms still flashed. Thousands of alien delegates shouted over one another. The holographic display showed only one thing, the solar system glowing like a heart of fire. High Speaker Arlen slammed his clawed hand on the desk. "Silence. Order," he roared. But his voice was drowned by panic. "They've disabled our defense grids. They shut down the entire galaxy. What if they do it again?" Arlen's voice thundered again. "Enough." Slowly the noise faded. He looked across the sea of frightened faces, leaders from 1,000 worlds. "They've done something we cannot explain," he said. "But we will find out how. Send every science vessel, every probe. I want answers." An old alien scholar spoke softly from the side. "High Speaker, what if we can't understand it?" Arlen's eyes darkened. "Then we prepare for war." On the far side of the galaxy, Commander Reltor watched the sun from his small ship, the Vrain's Claw. He had witnessed everything, the light, the shutdown, the rebirth. He had seen humans command the power of a star. Now he couldn't stop thinking about what came next. His first officer approached carefully. "Commander, new readings are coming in. The energy ring is stabilizing." Reltor turned slowly. "Stabilizing? After that blast?" "Yes, sir. The radiation levels are dropping. It's as if the humans are controlling every atom." Reltor stared at the screen. No weapons. No chaos. Just precision. It wasn't destruction. It was control. He whispered to himself, "They didn't unleash chaos, they planned it." On Earth, Dr. Mira Solon stood in the central control room of Project Impossible. The walls trembled with power. Screens glowed with endless data streams. Around her, tired scientists worked silently. Some were crying. Some were praying. "Report," Mira said calmly. A young technician replied, "Phase 2 successful. The fusion core is stable. No system failures detected." "Any external interference?" "None." "But doctor," the technician hesitated. "We're receiving a signal. It's coming from outside the galaxy." Myra's head snapped up. "Outside?" "Yes." Weak but repeating. "It's responding to our earlier broadcast." The room went quiet. Every scientist turned toward her. Mira took a slow breath. "Play it." A strange hum filled the speakers, low, deep, like the voice of a distant storm. It wasn't words. It wasn't sound. It was a vibration that seemed to reach into their bones. Some scientists clutched their heads. Others fell to their knees. "It's not just sound," Mira whispered. "It's communication." The realization hit her like a blade of ice. They hadn't just built a machine. They had sent a message, and something had answered. Back in the council hall, the fear spread like fire. Reports flooded in from every corner of the galaxy. Communication blackouts near human space. Ships refusing to approach Sol system. Energy storms affecting navigation routes. The council demanded immediate action. Fleet Commander Vecran slammed his fist on the table. I warned you. Humanity was a threat waiting to happen. We must strike now, before they unleash something worse. But the Varn ambassador shook his head. Strike? Against what? Their technology shuts down entire systems. You'll send ships to die. Vecran snarled, then we die trying. I will not let apes control the stars. Erlen raised a hand. Enough. There will be no war, not yet. We need to understand their purpose. He turned to his aides. Send envoys to Earth. If they refuse to meet, we act. The council agreed, but in their hearts, none believed diplomacy would work. Meanwhile, in the shadows of space, something massive moved. From the edge of the solar system, human vessels, thousands of them, began leaving their orbits. They moved silently, their engines glowing white with impossible energy. Each ship carried a faint pulse, the same rhythm as the sun. The same heartbeat. Reltor watched in awe. They're spreading the energy field, he muttered. His first officer turned to him. Commander, should we retreat? He shook his head. No. If the galaxy fears them, someone must understand them. Someone must witness the truth. He turned to the stars. Send a message to the council. Tell them I'm staying. Inside Project Impossible's command center, Dr. Mira stared at the data from the deep space signal. The readings were changing. It wasn't random. It was growing clearer. Mira, said one of the scientists nervously, this isn't natural. It's organized. It's like someone is answering our math with their own. Mira didn't look away from the screen. Then we're not alone anymore. A silence fell over the room. Every scientist felt the same thought, cold and unspoken. What if humanity had just contacted something older than the galaxy itself? The technician looked up. Doctor, what do we do? Mira took a deep breath. We listen. And we learn. Hours later, the galaxy's military fleets gathered near the borders of human space. Hundreds of alien ships waited in formation, engines burning blue in the void. The commanders' voices trembled over the comms. This is madness. They've done nothing yet. What if they see this as war? But fear was stronger than reason. High Speaker Arlen's voice echoed across every fleet. Hold your positions. Do not engage unless provoked. Humanity has crossed a line, but we will not strike first. Then came the whisper from one of the distant ships, a lone scout's final message before its signal vanished. Something's happening near the sun. The ring is opening. Reltor saw it too. Through his viewport, the energy ring around Earth's sun began spinning faster. Then it split open like a giant eye. A brilliant beam of light shot outward, not a weapon but a tunnel. A hole in space itself. The light stretched far, far into the void beyond the galaxy's edge. And from that endless blackness, something shimmered in return. Commander, his officer whispered. What is that? Reltor stared at the expanding gateway and felt a chill crawl down his spine. He had fought wars. He had seen planets burn. But this was different. That, he said slowly, is why the galaxy should panic. Back on Earth, Myra's team confirmed it. Project Impossible had done more than control a star. It had opened space. The human experiment had created a door, a bridge between galaxies. And something had stepped through. A faint shadow appeared inside the glowing ring. It was enormous, too large to be a ship, too strange to be a planet. The sensors failed to describe it. Even computers crashed trying to record its shape. But for one brief second before the signal cut, the entire galaxy heard a sound echo across space. Not human, not alien, but ancient. A voice. It whispered one word. Finally. The council fell silent. The fleets froze. Even the humans stopped their celebration. Because whatever had answered was now here. And the galaxy finally understood the true meaning of Project Impossible. It wasn't just a test of power. It was an invitation. And someone, or something, had accepted it. For weeks the galaxy was silent. The bright light from Earth's sun still glowed stronger than ever, a white gold beacon in the dark. But no human signals came through. No ships, no voices, not even distress calls. The Galactic Council declared Earth lost. Some called it a tragedy. Others whispered that humanity had destroyed itself by tampering with forces beyond reason. And a few, like Admiral Reltor, refused to believe they were gone. He sat alone on his ship, orbiting the edge of Sol system, staring at the bright star. It pulsed slowly like the rhythm of a heartbeat. Reltor's sensors picked up faint patterns in the light. Not random noise, messages. He ordered his scientists to decode them. Days passed. Weeks. Finally, one trembling officer ran to him. "Sir, it's a signal. A human one." Reltor's eyes widened. "Play it." The voice was faint but calm. It was Commander Vale. "To all who can hear this, humanity is not dead. Project Impossible succeeded. We have crossed beyond the physical plane. We now exist between light and matter." The transmission faded, replaced by waves of golden energy across every sensor. Reltor whispered, "Between light and matter?" Then his ship began to shake. Outside, the sunlight shifted again, not bright, not blinding, but alive. The beams twisted into shapes, forming massive golden silhouettes in space. And from that light, came ships. Human ships. But they weren't like before. Their hulls shimmered like mirrors of energy, half solid, half light. They moved without engines, bending space around them effortlessly. One of them approached Reltor's vessel. It stopped just a few kilometers away. A voice filled the bridge, calm, deep, unmistakably human. "Admiral Reltor. You stayed. You watched. You believed." Reltor's crew froze. Who are you?" he whispered. "We are humanity. But not as we were. The sun has become our bridge. We no longer need fuel, food, or rest. We have merged with what we created." The alien commander stood in awe. "You, merged with your own star?" "Not just merged," the voice said. "We became one with it. The energy we unleashed was meant to power our world. But it opened something greater, a path to higher existence. We can see the structure of space itself now. We can touch what others call impossible." The human ship extended a beam of golden light toward Reltor's ship, harmless, gentle. His systems instantly recharged. Every broken circuit repaired itself. "This is our gift," the voice continued. "For centuries the galaxy mocked us. They called us weak, primitive. But weakness taught us how to fight, and suffering taught us how to dream." Reltor felt his chest tighten. His entire life he had feared humans, their stubbornness, their unpredictability. But now he understood. Humanity hadn't built a weapon. They had built a transformation. Back in the council hall, panic erupted again as readings came in. "Human fleets detected," shouted an officer. "They're emerging across multiple sectors, without using wormholes." "Impossible," the speaker yelled. But the displays didn't lie. Human ships appeared near hundreds of stars at once, bringing power surges and stable light to systems that were dying. One transmission filled the chamber, playing on every screen. "To the Galactic Council, do not fear. We did not return for war. We came to share what we found." The room went completely silent. "We know now that the universe is alive. Every star is a heartbeat. Every planet a thought. Project Impossible opened our eyes, and now we will help others see." Some alien leaders cried. Others bowed their heads. For the first time in galactic history, a species had not returned for revenge, conquest, or dominance, but to lift everyone higher. Reltor watched from his ship as a human vessel approached the dying world of Tryon 4, once a scorched wasteland. The ship hovered above it and released a golden wave of energy. Moments later, clouds formed. Rain began to fall. The world breathed again. His crew was speechless. "They're fixing planets," one whispered. Reltor smiled faintly. "They're fixing everything." He turned toward the golden light of Earth's sun, now visible even from systems away, no longer a star but a symbol. Years later, the galaxy called it the Awakening. Humanity was no longer just a civilization. They had become the keepers of the cosmic balance, protectors of light, guardians of creation. But humans never forgot who they were. They still laughed, argued, and dreamed. They still called themselves the impossible species. When asked why they risked everything, Commander Vale, now half energy, half man, gave a simple answer. Because no one else would. And so the galaxy learned a truth that would never be forgotten. That the most fragile species in the stars had done what gods could not. They had touched the heart of a sun, and became its light. The galaxy would forever tremble. Not in fear, but in awe of humanity. The Galactic Council was in chaos. Reports poured in from every star system, gravity waves, light distortions, and strange magnetic storms spreading from Earth's region. The event was no longer local. It was cosmic. In the center of the hall, the council's speaker, Varnak of the Zeeth Dominion, slammed his claws on the table. "Humans have tampered with a star. They could destroy half the galaxy, he shouted. But others disagreed. They warned us, said a quiet voice, Admiral Reltor appearing through a hologram feed. His ship was trembling in orbit near Earth's sun. They told everyone to stay away. We ignored them. Now, we're watching something we don't understand. The feed flickered. Behind Reltor, the massive ring near the sun was glowing brighter than ever. Human ships moved like insects around it, precise, silent, and fearless. Then the unthinkable happened. The surface of the sun moved. Every alien watching the broadcast went silent. It wasn't an explosion, it was control. The solar surface twisted into spiral patterns like flowing liquid metal. Energy lines connected the sun to the glowing ring, forming a bridge of fire and light. Reltor whispered, "They're shaping the sun?" The council chamber went dark as the shockwave reached the station. All systems flickered, lights died, and communications dropped for 10 seconds. When they came back online, the sun had changed color. No longer yellow, it was white, burning with impossible intensity. A human voice came through every galactic channel again. "Come, Cole. This is Earth Command. Project Impossible, Phase 1 complete." Every alien mind froze. Across dozens of worlds, panic began. Governments ordered defenses ready. Armies mobilized. Many thought Earth had turned its star into a weapon. But no human ship moved to attack. They simply watched. Then new readings came in. From the farthest sensors, scientists reported, the sun's light was bending faster, traveling farther, carrying encoded data. Humanity had found a way to speak through sunlight. It wasn't a weapon. It was communication, on a scale no one could match. The galaxy was listening, but no one understood what they were hearing. Aboard his ship, Reltor stared at the screen in silence. He could see the humans floating near their massive creation, calm and steady, as if they were doing something sacred. He whispered to his aide, "They're not fighting for power, they're reaching for something greater." His aide trembled. "But what if this power destroys us all?" Reltor looked out toward the blinding ring around the sun. "Then maybe the galaxy deserves it," he said quietly. That night, across the galaxy, alien children looked up at their skies and saw a strange new light, brighter, whiter, and filled with unknown patterns. The stars themselves seemed to whisper, in the human tongue. And the galaxy finally understood. Humanity had not just unleashed power. They had changed reality itself. The impossible was no longer theory. It was alive. And the galaxy trembled. The galaxy did not sleep that night. From the richest worlds of the Council to the poorest colonies at the edge of known space, every species stared at the same blinding light. Earth's sun no longer looked like a normal star, it pulsed like a living heart. Every few hours, the light changed rhythm, as if sending messages across the cosmos. And with every pulse, strange things began to happen. Space stations reported small shifts in gravity. Old satellites reactivated on their own. Abandoned probes suddenly transmitted data again, data filled with human code. The galaxy panicked. In the council hall, Speaker Varnock demanded immediate action. "They've turned their star into a weapon of control. If we wait, the humans will bend all stars to their will." But a quiet voice cut through the shouting, Admiral Reltor. He appeared again through a shaky transmission, his face pale under the blue lights of his ship. "You're wrong," he said. "They're not trying to destroy us. I've been monitoring their energy patterns. The humans, they're paying a price for what they've done." The chamber fell silent. "What do you mean?" Varnock asked, narrowing his eyes. Reltor turned the feed toward Earth's orbit. The view was haunting. Hundreds of human ships were dark. Lifeless. No movement. "They've lost contact with their own fleets," he explained. "Their systems are failing. Whatever they've built, it's feeding on them." The council didn't believe him at first. But within hours, the reports came in. Human colonies near the solar system had gone completely silent. Energy blackouts. Communication failures. Even Earth itself had vanished behind a blinding white storm of light. Far from the council's eyes, inside that storm, humanity was fighting for survival. In Earth Command, Commander Vale stood before a cracked holographic map. The atmosphere outside boiled with radiation. Every communication line burned out. Technicians shouted across the control room. "Sir, the sun's pulse is destabilizing. The fusion ring is pulling too much power." Another voice cried, "The containment field's dropping. If it breaks, the entire system will collapse." Vale slammed his fist on the console. "No. We finished this. Humanity didn't come this far to stop now." He looked up at the giant window. The sky was pure white. The sun was roaring. Project Impossible was supposed to give them a way to save their dying planet, to create endless clean energy from the solar core. But something had gone beyond control. The power they unleashed was rewriting reality itself, bending the laws of space around Earth. And yet, the humans refused to shut it down. Even if it kills us, Vale whispered, it will show the galaxy what humanity is capable of. Outside, in his distant observation ship, Admiral Reltor watched in awe as the light from the sun expanded, stretching across space like waves of fire. His sensors screamed warnings, do not approach. Energy levels critical. His crew begged him to retreat. But Reltor stayed. If this is the end of them, he said softly, I want to witness it. Then something changed. The light began to focus, shrinking, tightening, forming a perfect spiral. The enormous fusion ring around the sun started to break apart, but instead of exploding, its pieces turned into streaks of light and vanished into the star. The white glare faded into gold. The chaos ended. And suddenly space became silent. Reltor held his breath. His sensors recalibrated. The sun was stable. Not just stable, stronger. He blinked in disbelief. Their star, it healed itself? No response came from Earth. No signal. No voice. Nothing. Only the whisper of solar winds. Hours later, the Council received a single transmission from the edge of human space. It was weak, broken, and full of static, but one line was clear. Project Impossible complete. Humanity endures. Then silence again. For days, no one knew if humans were alive or dead. Their ships didn't move, their colonies didn't speak. The bright light of their sun remained, shining across the galaxy, brighter, purer, and strange. Scientists discovered something else. The energy wave from Earth's system had spread across the galactic map, stabilizing wormholes, recharging dead reactors, and even restoring dying stars. The thing humanity created hadn't just changed them, it had changed everything. In his private log, Admiral Reltor wrote one final entry. They called it Project Impossible. Maybe it was. But I think they built something beyond our understanding, a machine that speaks to the universe itself. And the universe answered. He closed the log, looking once more at the shining point of light in the distance. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy's oldest races bowed their heads, not out of fear but respect. Because the humans had done what no other species ever dared. They touched the heart of a star, and survived. The Grand Council Hall floated above the shining world of Vethra Prime, home to the most powerful rulers in the galaxy. Thousands of alien delegates filled the Golden Chamber, their voices echoing in different tones and languages. They were arguing as always about trade routes, border control, and who owned which star system. Then, every screen in the hall flickered. The lights dimmed. The air turned cold. And a single signal broke through all channels. It came from Earth. At first no one believed it. The humans? Those primitive creatures from the forgotten blue planet? They were weak, poor, and isolated. The last time the Council had spoken about Earth was decades ago, when they laughed at how far behind humans were in technology. But the signal was real. Every communication relay in the galaxy confirmed it. The voice that spoke was calm, confident. It carried no threats, no fear. This is Earth Command, the voice said. We are activating Project Impossible. Stand by for observation. The words echoed across the chamber like thunder. Silence fell. For a long moment, no one moved. Then the panic began. Impossible, hissed the Kether Chancellor, his scaled hands trembling. Earth has no access to high-grade plasma cores. They can't even power a moon base. Could this be a joke? Muttered the Varn ambassador. A cry for attention? The Council's head, High Speaker Arlen, raised his voice. Trace the signal. Confirm its source. It's real, said a technician, his tendrils glowing in fear. Signal originated from Sol System, directly from Earth's orbit. A wave of whispers filled the chamber. And then the impossible happened. Across the galaxy, observatories began transmitting new data. Telescopes pointed toward the Sol System detected a massive structure forming near Earth's sun, a glowing ring of light. The structure was expanding rapidly, powered by unknown energy. Get me visuals, shouted Arlen. The screens came alive with the image of the sun, bending unnaturally. Huge streams of plasma moved in circular patterns, following an invisible command. The glowing ring pulsed brighter and brighter. Alien scientists screamed as their instruments overloaded. Energy levels are beyond measurable limits, one cried. It's rewriting magnetic fields. The Grand Council went into chaos. Someone shouted, shut down the Sol network. Another voice yelled, "Evacuate the nearby colonies." The council finally issued an order. No ship is to enter the Sol system. Keep all fleets away from human space. But not everyone obeyed. Among those listening was Commander Reltor, a veteran of the Zynar fleet. His crimson eyes narrowed as he watched the glowing ring on his screen. He had fought in dozens of wars, seen the destruction of worlds, yet this sight made his scales crawl. "Commander," said his first officer, "orders are clear. We must not approach." Reltor smiled faintly. "Orders are for those who fear the unknown. I don't." He leaned forward. "Set course for Sol system. I want to see what these humans are doing." The crew hesitated, but his authority was absolute. Within moments his small scout ship, the Vrain's Claw, jumped to light speed. Hours later they reached the edge of human space. The sight before them stole their breath. The sun was no longer just a star, it was alive. Energy rings spun around it, controlled by hundreds of human ships glowing with blue plasma. Reltor zoomed his sensors closer. "By the void," he whispered. "They're controlling a star." His crew stared in silence. The sun's surface pulsed like a heartbeat, responding to the pattern of the human ring. It was as if Earth had turned its sun into a living machine. "Commander," said the sensor officer quietly, "the radiation readings are breaking our scanners." Reltor didn't answer. He was too stunned. Back in the council hall, the panic reached new heights. Messages came in from every corner of the galaxy. Power spikes in Sol system are spreading. Magnetic fields shifting across sectors. Gravity waves detected far beyond known limits. Then, a new transmission appeared. The same human voice. "Come. Steady. Project Impossible. Phase 1 successful. Stand by." Before anyone could respond, a flash of light burst from the sun, a wave that raced across the galaxy faster than any signal known. For a split second, every starship, every space station, every communications relay, went dark. And then, power returned. Except for one thing. Every alien system showed a warning. Unknown energy detected. Source, human origin. Reltor watched from orbit, his ship shaking from the shockwave. "Commander," his officer shouted, "should we retreat?" Reltor stared at the burning ring around the sun and whispered, "No. This is history. The impossible has begun." In that moment, far across the stars, the galaxy trembled, not from weapons or war but from fear of what humans had just unleashed.